All right. What's going on, everybody? It's been a long time since we did this, but just so y'all know, just want to let y'all know the Dope Conversations is back. I had to take a brief break. College was kicking my butt. It still is, as a matter of fact, but I've been getting a lot of questions on asking me when I'm gonna bring it back, and it's only fitting that I asked this individual 3 months ago, which is actually when I took a break, to come on the show. And she told me she wasn't ready at that moment in time. And then when she hit me up and said that she was ready, I was like, you know what? That's a perfect time to bring the show back. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Niechia. I think I pronounced it Niechia. Oh,
it's
my sister's name is Niechia. Niechia Smith. She's from a small town, and I've actually been here before. So she's from a small town in North Carolina called Kinston. She was raised in a few different locations, you know, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Washington, D.C., and now she's in San Antonio, Texas. She is no stranger to adversities. She started her business, her brand, through her own healing journey from her experiences of childhood trauma, depression. The company's name is Soulstice Exchange. I'm country, and she started in 2017 when you started it, if I'm not mistaken?
So I went through a holistic healing certification in 2017.
Okay.
But I did the thing that a lot of us do. We doubt ourselves. We sit on ideas. You know, we question when is the right time. And so I actually did an official launch last year for Soulstice Exchange.
Last year. Okay. Mm-hmm. So just so y'all know, she is certified. She's not one of those individuals that speaks it and talks about it. She has the background and the education to stand behind it. One of the other things is that was interesting. She is a International Sports and Science Association certified personal trainer, which brings me to the point. My sister has a wellness business, but one of the things that we talk about, and one of the things that I love about your story and I love about what you do, is that you find a way to incorporate the mental aspect to the physical aspect. And I think that's what a lot of people in this quick fitness or the fitness world, I think a lot of the fitness trainers, in my opinion, forget that people are so caught up into what's on Instagram, what's on social media when it comes to wellness, that they forget the mental part. She's a mother, she's a wife, and her job, her story, her mission is to share her story to the world, educate others on the benefits of holistic wellness. So, and I know I went through the introduction pretty long, but I wanted to make sure we capture some things that you guys need to understand before we get into this conversation. So, how are you doing today? It's hot over here in Arizona, but how are you doing in San Antonio?
So, I actually am currently in Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Okay.
We were in San Antonio. I actually lived in San Antonio for about 10 years. My husband was active Navy. We headed out to Virginia, but of course we decided to make Texas our home. And now we're in Dallas Fort Worth.
Which is probably the reason why you was doing. Yeah, you celebrated your first pop-up event. Was it last weekend, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Dallas, Texas. I'm definitely gonna have to make sure you connected with some of my resources in Dallas, Texas. So
definitely.
So are you ready to get into this interview?
I am ready.
Okay, so I have a series of questions that I ask, and mainly the first one and the last one are my mandatory questions that I ask. But for the most part, I want the world to know you, so I don't like to steer the conversation so much, but I like the conversation to just be what is called a dope conversation, and really just tap into your purpose, your vision, your why. And one of the main reasons why I do this interview for you new listeners is I interview individuals who are in their moment, not have already would perceive what society is a success. Because in my opinion, when they're in their moment, when they connect to their purpose, that's success to me. And I know there's a lot of people out there that want to that want to make that leap of faith or make that leap, but they're afraid. Having these interviews with the people who are in their strides, who are connected with their purpose, and they're going through their process right now. They're going through those living right now, the moments of sleepless nights or doubting themselves. These are the conversations that we should be having right now in order to help people connect to their purpose and take that leap of faith. So we're gonna go ahead and get to this interview. So first question to you, man, is everybody has a foundation. What is your foundation and how did it shape you to be the person that you are today?
So my foundation, I would have to say, stems from my childhood. I know that being a Black woman in America, that's a lot. Being a little girl growing up in a small town in North Carolina, um, that can be a lot in terms of demographic and what you see, opportunities that are presented to you. So for me, my foundation, the reason why I do what I do, not only stems from the difficulties that I experienced as a child, but also understanding that for my people that look like me, little girls that look like me, little boys that look like me, in some places there's just not enough representation. And so as we get deeper into this conversation, I will pull from all of those things. But I mean, when I think foundation, it's just knowing that as a child, I didn't see people that looked like me doing what I wanted to do,
Right.
at the capacity that I wanted to do it. And then you couple that with those adversities and feeling like you don't have the resources to even think about it. It's like, no, I want to be the change. And having been someone that has actually lived that, I know what it feels like to be on the opposite end of that.
So you mentioned something that's important to this conversation and it alludes to connect to your purpose. But like, what triggered the change? Like, what were some things that happened in your life that caused you to? Because it sounds like this is something that you've been wanting to do since probably you were a teenager or even a little girl. But based off of what you're saying to me is you've been feeling this for a while. But what was that moment that triggered that? Hey, let me go ahead and do this.
So I'll be honest, there was some growing pains, right? Society tells us we have to go out, we have to go work for somebody else, and we get on that hamster wheel. And sometimes you do really good on the hamster wheel. You know how to play the game. I'll be honest, when I first stepped into corporate America, I did not know how to play the game. I had to learn. It was a huge adjustment. But even getting to the point where I was able to play the game and, getting into those higher level positions, there was always the feeling of just, this is not it, if you're speaking Soulstice Exchange and what brought me to where I am now, which is, having my own business, I would have to say, we relocated to Dallas Fort Worth. I took a position in e-commerce. Within a year, I was promoted to management level because I knew how to play the game, and I cried at a moment where I probably should have been happy, right? You're getting more money, different things, all those things that come with the higher level positions. It was like, oh my God, what am I doing? It was like that moment where I realized I cannot continue not to walk in my purpose, I have to get off the hamster wheel. And so I literally woke up one day randomly, weekend, and kind of nudged my husband and I said, I'm going to do it. And at that moment, I started trying to figure out what steps do I need to take to make this a thing. And that was just it for me. Like there was a pull that I couldn't ignore anymore.
So can we talk about this crime piece right quick? Can I like I want to know, like, you get promoted and you cried. What?
But it was a reason of joy. It was like my joy.
And the reason why I'm asking that is because it's funny you say that. It's a lot of people who are, and not saying that I am, but let's use me for example. I've been successful in the military in some people's eyes, but literally when I found out I got promoted to the rank I'm at now, it's like, come on, man, really? More? That's, in the back of my mind, that's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. Not saying that I'm not blessed and I don't feel blessed. I'm not grateful. I'm very grateful where I am and how I'm able to provide for my family. But like, that's a real true feeling. Like people are in corporate or structured companies or, in the industries, and they're not happy with who they are, but they're going along with what society expects them to be, just so that they can feel like they're surviving instead of surviving in their purpose. Exactly. So like the cry, tell me, come on, like walk us through this cry moment. You get promoted, you start making extra money, you cry. Like,
so what is so crazy is like, so at the time that I got the information got filtered down to me to say, hey, you got it. I was actually on a business trip. So I'm in another city. I was out in Omaha, and like after this, we've got to go to dinner. So I got to put on my face, right? Oh my gosh. It was just like a breaking point for me, because it's like I realized, okay, now once again, like I said, I'm no stranger to management positions within corporate, but I'm once again kind of taking on more responsibilities, but it's not even along the lines of what I had expected to be doing with my life at this point in time. And I tried to spin it, and I know somebody out there can relate. You push through it and you try to make complacency okay. You think about, well, it is more money, and well, I will get to do this and I will get to do that, even though it's not what I really want to do. Right. You start to convince yourself that this is it. So then what I tried to do within that position is I said, you know what, I'm going to bring what I want to do to this position. I'm going to be about the people and for the people. But even in trying to do that, in a sense, it just wasn't along the lines with what most corporate places would be okay with. And it was just like, I can't do this. And I'm no longer okay with watering myself down or pretending to be something that I'm not, so that I can exist within this space. So something has to change. Like, I am not happy. And I mean, at that point, COVID was a thing. I'm working from home. I have 3 kiddos who are, online schooling, and like, they can see that I'm unhappy. Like, it rolled over to my home, even like that energy, it wasn't right. And like, my husband would ask me every day, is today the day? Like, are you going to finally do it? But one day I woke up and it was the day, and I didn't look back.
So y'all hear that, right? Everybody heard what she said, things that a lot of us are feeling, which is we try to conform and we fake it because we are maybe afraid or maybe not afraid to be ourselves. We change ourselves and we lose ourselves in the midst of trying to hold on to this quote unquote great accomplishment. But right. The great accomplishment is not the promotion. The great accomplishment is, again, going into the purpose, accepting, recognizing who you are. Mm-hmm. So everybody that's listening, you need to understand that it's not about trying to stay, play it safe. It's, of course, you got to have your foundation. You got to have a plan, but within that plan, you just got to eventually say, you know what, I'm gonna have to do it. And when I do it, I'm gonna make sure I do it the way it's supposed to be done.
That's right.
So speaking of accomplishments, and I'm pretty sure we already know this answer. So what was one of your biggest? What was one of your? Give me two, because I know last year was a big accomplishment. But what's two major accomplishments that put you in this position that you're in today?
Um, One, doing it scared. I think it was a mental thing for me. Um, Realizing that I always had the capacity to do it and that I was hindering myself. Nothing else was hindering me. And it was like this wall that was in front of me completely just crumbled when I realized, like, if you just put your mind to just doing it and stop telling yourself you can or giving yourself
Hmm.
reasons why you shouldn't, you you can move mountains and you don't even know it. So that was one big thing for me. And I actually kind of tried to write some footnotes because I knew some of these questions were coming. When you said what was your most accomplished moment? Like the
Yeah.
moment I'm living in it now. I get
Okay.
to wake up and do something that I love and pour into other people, um, tell my truth, not be ashamed, and understand that even if there's 100 people that don't get it, there's going to be that one person, and it happens nearly every day, that reaches
Right.
out to me and says, "Wow, man, like." Wow, you've inspired me. You spoke to me today. You said this and it helped me in some kind of way.
And if y'all are, some of you guys that's listening, what she's speaking in reference to is because the moment I saw her, I don't know, on social media, never met her in person. A friend of mine posted something about, she posted something about her business in a friend of mine's group, and I immediately gravitated to her business. But what she does is she posts like habits, if not daily, almost every day, that speaks to putting positive energy into the atmosphere. And a lot of her posts are very inspirational. And she speaks from the place of her purpose, and it ties back into her business. And as a person going to school, and when I'm going to school, and everything she's doing is intentful, and it's in line with speaking to her target audience, which is very important in this digital age of business. So if you're not following her, you need to follow Soulstice Exchange on Instagram. Follow her Facebook page, and literally she drops nuggets every single day. If not every day, almost every day.
Thank you.
So we're getting to the other questions in the conversation, which I'm loving what you're saying, because everything that you're putting down, somebody should be picking up. I'm definitely picking it up. But is this your dream job, or is there another dream job?
So, as a child, I was always very gifted in writing, music. I played the cello, I played the piano by ear. I'm a soprano one. And so, my dream as a young girl was always to be a singer songwriter, to
Mhm.
eventually write a book, kind of telling my story from having been in foster care and all these things to being the person I am now. So, my answer to that question is going to be yes, simply because my dream was always to be able to use my creative space to tell my story and inspire others. Now, I may not be doing it in song or by, getting up on a stage and performing, but I do feel like what I'm doing now still allows for me to do something I've always wanted to do, which is just to say, here I am. This is where I come from. These are the things I've dealt with, but I am here because I did A, B, and C to get to this point.
Okay, so you slipped up and mentioned something that we weren't tracking. So
Okay.
I guess that kind of alluded to the multiple locations of domicile. So
Yes.
you in foster care?
I was. So at around 11,
Hmm.
I was placed in foster care in Kinston, North Carolina. I had multiple placements, including group homes, some family group situations. I actually have extended family now. The foster mom that I lived with for the longest, which was almost 2 years, she had 5 kids of her own, and her youngest was in college at the time. And then she took 4 of us in. She
Right.
ended up adopting 2. Uh, so we are all still very close. We communicate through social media and all that good stuff, and they are definitely my brothers and sisters for life.
So how do you think that impacts you? Like
Oh, it
what do you,
definitely.
you know, yeah, what impact did that have on you? Maybe I'll phrase it wrong, but what impact do you think that had on you to the person that you are today?
The way that I feel about educating the collective on what it means to heal
Hmm.
is because I had to go through this cocooning process myself. So, when you grow up going from place to place, feeling like, why aren't my biological parents here at the capacity that, they're supposed to be? And, you end up in some maybe not so favorable situations going from point A to point B. Um, you start to pack a bag. You know how Erica Badu says, "Bag lady." You carried around
Yeah.
all this stuff with you. I carried stuff with me well into my 20s. I'll be honest with you. The bulk of this person you see in front of you now, that healing journey started for me in my late 20s.
Okay.
Late 20s. And so knowing what it feels like to kind of not know your place in the world and to feel unlovable, to feel like the black sheep in a sense, and to have to figure out a way to heal that so that you can show up whole not only for yourself but for the people around you. I'm a mom now, I'm a wife. It's not just about me anymore,
Hmm.
and so that definitely has a huge impact on not only my brand but my purpose and what I want to bring to the forefront.
Okay. Man, that's so. That's just thing. So I have a certification in it's called in the military called a master resiliency trainer, right?
Mm.
And they talk about this. It's just a specific segment of the training about value-based goals. So what you tapped into was a lot of things that you value because of your life experience, and you place value on those things. And it sounds like those those things that you value are allowing you to establish goals that matter for the most part. And mentioning that your wife and your mother, one thing that really caught my eye was you said your husband was active duty Navy.
He was.
Um, so how was that? How was being a military spouse? Uh, like, did that kind of hold you back from stepping into your purpose, or because a lot of spouses have to pick up, and you get one location, you start one thing, you have to pick up and quit.
Hmm.
Did that kind of contribute to you saying, you know what, you know, I'm over here doing these jobs to support the family because my husband's doing what he has to do, and I have to do something. But was it one of those things where, hey, it's time for me to do me? I know you're still in the military, or you're probably getting ready to separate and get out. Um, did the travel in the military kind of expose you to some things that poured into your current purpose?
Almost definitely. So I actually met my husband in San Antonio, Texas. He was stationed,
Oh, okay,
and
okay,
we moved from San Antonio to Virginia together. And I mean, you have experience in the military, so sometimes they tell you one thing and something else happens. So I actually had a very difficult pregnancy with our last son. He's 6 months,
okay,
and he was born premature. At the time that he got orders to Virginia, well, he wasn't going to go to Virginia, but he took the orders because they told him that, he would be able to stay home. He wouldn't have to go to the ship. So we kind of took that detour somewhere that we really, yeah, I see your face. We took that detour to somewhere
you
we
said
really had no intent of going. Just to
Wait,
be
you
able to have
said
a family situation.
you said Virginia and no ship. I've never heard anybody go to Virginia and not get on the ship. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, they definitely switched it up. About 30 days out from the move, they said, "Oh, we're sending you to, Washington State. You're going to go to training. We're going to fly you out to this ship that is somewhere out in, the middle of nowhere." And so I actually was working for an investment company at the time, was able to transfer with my job to Virginia.
Okay.
But imagine being in this new place, 3 kiddos, and like you're trying to figure it all out and your husband is gone. So what we ended up deciding was that I would, resign and stay home for that year that he was kind of back and forth out to sea. And
Okay.
I'll be honest, that is where the bulk of my spiritual journey happened. I was away from
Mm,
my family. My grandparents live in San Antonio, and as far as my, mother father figure, they have always been that. So to be away from, the only family that I really have, and to be with my 3 kiddos and be somewhere where I really don't know anyone, it
right.
really forced me into like this shedding. I called it my shedding phase. I
Mm,
realized what was real and what wasn't, what mattered and what didn't. I spent a lot of time meditating, reading books, learning about holistic health. And during that time is when I got my certification as a holistic healer,
okay.
because the breakthroughs that I had in, learning, it was too good not to want to help other people have that experience as well.
Listen, especially as a military spouse, like, just imagine, imagine if your husband, he's out now, and he's still in.
He is no longer in the military. He
Okay.
actually transitioned to corporate, and he loves it. So
Congratulations.
he
Well,
loves
congratulations on the great escape.
it.
But just imagine, it's a lot of military spouses across all services that are dealing with that, right? Dealing with exactly what you went through.
Right.
Because um, I know we raise our right hand, we volunteer, but sometimes the spouse doesn't really know what they're getting into when they elect to marry a military person. And it takes a great deal of resiliency to have to pick up every 2 to 3 years, and reestablish yourself, reestablish your village or your trust network, and then on top of that, if you were at a location where you were making, let's just say, a pretty decent amount of money, now you have to pretty much start over if you weren't blessed enough to transfer with your job. So, like, this is everything that you're saying is you were lying, you're being put through a process in order to be able to test yourself so that you can be truthful to what you're doing now. So, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. It's so your audience, like, what's the makeup of your audience, the majority of your audience?
So the majority of my audience as it stands right now are, of course, female. I relate to females. I do have some
Mhm.
guys though. So I do use TikTok as a platform for lives, and we talk about things like affirmations and meditating. And actually, my husband jumped on one with me, and we did a relationship realness topic where we just kind of dug into that aspect of healing and communicating and all of those things. But my demographic is mainly females, for the most part.
Okay. And I think, was it June or July? Let me hold on. Let me confirm before you fact check me again. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, you reached a milestone on social media, correct?
Yes, I did.
Let's see. Okay, so which platform was it? TikTok or was it Facebook?
It was TikTok.
Was it 50,000 followers?
It was 10,000.
10,000.
Hmm.
Where did 50,000? I wonder where 50,000 came from. I don't know.
Claiming it
But
end of 2021.
so, so when I saw that, I was like, I was cheering you on. I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Hmm.
And that's that's big business because one of the things that TikTok does is if you're doing it right, TikTok can be another stream of income.
That's true.
And I have no doubt that the information that you're putting out, because I see what you put out. I don't have a TikTok page for. I'm probably never having to mention to get one, but for security reasons, I just don't have trust in TikTok right now.
I understand.
But I have no doubt that what you're doing on TikTok is just as influential as what you're doing on Facebook and Instagram. It's just your audience. You know where your audience is, and that's very important to anybody listening. Know where your audience is, so you can speak to them. You can speak directly to them. But that's congratulations on that milestone, and that's not an easy feat for you guys out there, because reaching 2,000 followers on any social media platform is difficult these days, because now everybody's following you for a purpose.
That's right.
We keep going back to this P word because I want you to understand purpose is purpose is purpose. And if you wake up, my sister, I love my sister to death, my older sister. Y'all need to connect too, by the way. But one of the things that we talk about, because every day I wake up in the morning, I get confused on, hey, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? I know I'm good at quite a few things, but I don't want to be good at quite a few things. I want to be really great at one or two things, and those one or two things feed off each other. Mm-hmm. And one of the things she said to me was, what's the first thing you do or first thing you think of or you get that gets you excited or that pushes you, that wakes you up in the morning? And if that's every single day, then that's your purpose. Mm-hmm. So now you have to figure out how to understand why that purpose is for what it is, and then create something for that purpose, because your purpose is a gift. And if you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
That's right. My grandmother, that one.
Oh, that's old wisdom right there. Wisdom. So, how does connecting with your purpose help you? How did connecting with your purpose help you with your purpose?
So, being able to connect with my purpose allowed for me to stand in my truth. Mm-hmm. There's no way that I could do this work and I'm not sure if I'm not going to curse. I was going to say half it. There's no way I could do this work in half step.
Yeah, we're adults, so you can say what you need to say.
Okay. Wasn't sure. In order to, do this kind of work, you have to have full-on transparency. I know I used to beat myself up a lot and say, man, I should have done this in my 20s. No, I shouldn't have, because I hadn't done the work to heal, to be able to come as real and authentic as I am now, as secure as I am now, to be able to put it all out there, put it on the line and say, this is who I am, like it or not. I know why I'm doing this, and the people that are supposed to get it will get it. And if you don't get it, then it's not for you. And so that is another kind of aha moment within this whole entrepreneurial thing, right? One of my good sister friends, and I will say this to anybody listening, make sure you have people around you that even if they don't maybe understand what you're doing, because not all my sister friends are into like holistic healing. They don't know a lot about crystals or meditation or anything like that. But the one thing they will do is, they will push me when I'm slacking. They will, drop those nuggets here and there. Mm-hmm. It was actually one of my sister friends that took my business and put me up for like a grant. Back when I was just thinking about it, I was sitting on it. She put me in the running for like this grant for money towards my business, and I won. And it's so funny because I was like, I can't believe you did that. And she said it was because you were sleeping, and I needed you to know that you could do this. So I had to say,
repeat that again, because you was doing what?
I was sleeping. I was sleeping on my potential and my ability to do what I wanted to do. And so it's very important to make sure you know your tribe. I'll say that. My tribe is very diverse. I have, sister friends that are way older than me, some that are younger than me, some that are in corporate, some that, are entrepreneurs. But it was those pivotal moments putting me in for a grant. I remember taking a trip with a couple of my sister friends who were already business owners, and we're out on vacation in Miami, right? We're on this boat. chilling, and they're like, well, what do you want to do? And why are you not doing that? When you have people around you like that are going to say, hey, if you want it, you better go for it. It makes all the difference. It makes all the difference in the world. And I didn't mean to kind of go on this rant, but like that's a big part of Soulstice Exchange starting when it did.
So I'm not laughing at you. It's just I'm telling my age, and you may be closer to, but if anybody, have you ever seen the movie Sister Act 2?
I have seen Sister Act 2.
So while you were talking, like immediately in the back of my voice, all I heard was, if you want to be somebody, you want to go somewhere.
Go somewhere, you gotta wake up and pay attention. Yes. Yes, that's right. It's true. It's true.
Like you were talking, and I'm like, I imagine I'm sitting there visualizing you and your homegirls, and they just like pressing you, like, hey man, you wasting your time. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got this. Like, you have us over here like this, but you're not even executing what you're supposed to be doing. I get yelled at like that too, but it's like, man, I tell people all day, it's like, I'm tired. I am worn out, and I don't even have the energy to wake up and say, hey, I got these turntables sitting right here. Mm-hmm. I want to get on my turntables. But then I go look at my turntables and like, you know what? I touch my turntables tomorrow. But I know that DJing, I know it does something to people when I DJ, because I'm pouring my emotions into what I'm doing to project it out on people. And that's one of the things I understand. I do understand that a lot of people out here do businesses and like, I'm definitely not knocking what you're doing. And I'm not knocking anybody that's trying to do that's doing what you're doing. But it's a lot of people out there that are doing this because it's a fad. It's because it's the new thing. Now you have a group of individuals, the same group of individuals. Whenever we take something and we make it like golden, shiny, they come in and take it and they start using it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm out here. I can't really speak to Arizona because I think Arizona has always been this way. But I just noticed that a lot of other people who don't look like us are starting to tap into this because they see it for a money thing, right?
Oh, yes.
But one of the things I know that's true is when you're doing something for when you live in your purpose and you're doing something to project positivity or to plant seeds in other people, that business is going to thrive. Mm-hmm. It's going to thrive. It's going to be, even though it's a business, it's your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is going to thrive because you are living in that space that's designed and developed for you.
Right. Exactly.
So I want to know a little bit more about this little chastising moment that you had with your homegirls. What are some other things that they?
So it wasn't really chastising. It was just. It was just a little tap. Like, hey, what is it that you really want to do? And to speak to something that you said earlier, you said, a lot of times military wives, they put what they want to do on the back burner to be present for the family. Yeah. Because of course, military comes first. Once you sign that paper, that's just what it is. Right. And so I had already during this time had the talk with my husband where he's like, man, maybe us coming to Dallas was the catalyst for me to be where I am now. And now I can be the catalyst for you to go off and do what it is you want to do. And so, I'm on this trip and I'm getting the nuggets, the jewels, right? I'm hearing you have to understand that your family is not going to be, the people closest to you may not be the ones to support your vision. You have to understand that. Everybody's not going to understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. As long as you know why you're doing it, that's what's important. That goes back into you saying, you got to know your purpose. You got to know your why. Right. The other thing that stood out to me was that, my friend who she's been in business for, 10 plus years, she's like, you have to understand that if you haven't failed, then you haven't tried hard enough. Like, I failed. I
Ooh,
failed, but I kept going. Like you fail and you keep going. You mess up and you don't stop. A lot of times, and I can attest to this because even in my 20s, right, when I was interested in moving into like the singing and stuff like that, I would go and try out for certain things and give 2000%, and then it would be a no. So now I'm discouraged. So now, it's months before I go out and try again. And, she just let me know that you'll never get anywhere if you don't just keep going, even if it's
right,
a no, even if you're not getting the response you want right away. Like, and that's
right,
why it's so important to know that you're walking in purpose, because as long as you are walking in purpose, I feel like the fulfillment is there. I'm not one who is really big on monetary. That's never been my vibe.
mhm,
um, that's just not me. So every day I wake up and, I'm pushing Solstice Exchange and maybe having interactions with, young women here and there and, speaking to them and telling my story. That is fulfilling for me.
right.
Even if, let's say, Solstice Exchange didn't get a sale that day, I feel like I had a purpose filled day. And I feel like that makes all the difference.
So I'm gonna tap into what you just said about when you speak or when you talk about social exchange and saying, making a statement of I may not have gotten a sale that day. Um, your sale might not be monetary, but if you picked up a follower or if you picked up a new member of your tribe, um, that is a sale because
Hmm.
eventually it's going to get converted over to something monetarily because they're going to support what you're doing because they don't want you to fail. I mean, not fail, but they don't want you to stop.
Right.
They're gonna feed. They're gonna feed you. They're gonna put gas in your gas tank just so that you can continue to feed them. Because the ultimate thing, one of the things I'm learning in school is establishing that connection. And when you establish a connection the right way, then it goes a long way when it comes to the business aspect of things. So
That's true.
you are definitely on the track. I kid you not. And when you become when you get to 50,000 followers in December and 100,000, or you get if they do certified accounts on, I don't know if they do certified accounts on TikTok, but when you make it, I'm gonna have this interview and I'm letting y'all know the way she's moving, what she's doing, and how she's speaking into the atmosphere is definitely something that's not going to go away anytime soon. And if it gets ready to go away, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna yell at you. Uh,
And
I'm gonna
let me
chastise you. Yeah, I'm gonna chastise you. So, uh, what does energy mean to you?
so So energy is something that is unseen, right? It's a non-physical exchange. I feel like when it's properly harnessed, it's power, it's alchemy, it's the ability to create your reality every single day. But when it's low vibrational, when it's not what it needs to be, then it's hindrance. It's they say you cut off your nose to spite your face.
Ooh,
When it's low vibrational, it's complete hindrance.
okay.
And it's never about other people. I even tell my children now, you will not ever be able to control another person.
Hmm.
You can control yourself. So when I think of energy, it's tapping into your personal power and knowing that you have the ability to control what you can control and make your life what you want it to be.
So, rebuttal question, right? What's the difference between energy and energy?
You said, what's the difference between energy and energy?
Yeah, and the reason why I said it is energy in the reference of being tired, being
Hmm.
exhausted, and then energy in reference of when you walk in a room, um, people like the demeanor or the vibe of the environment. The environment changes. What's the difference between those 2?
The difference between those two is how you show up for yourself every single day. Not for
Mm-hmm.
other people, not for your job, not even for your significant other. It's how you show up for yourself. So if I am constantly pouring, right? I'm pouring into a job that I know I'm not happy with. I'm pouring into low vibrational people who they don't want to see me win because they don't even know how to tap in and see themselves win. If I'm constantly surrounding myself with those things, then of course I am going to be a reflection of those things. And so is my energy. But if I take back my personal power, right? And I put myself first, because it's not selfish to put yourself first. I know there's a lot of controversy about that. You cannot do for others if you don't do for yourself first. If I'm pouring into myself and giving myself what I need, then comes that magnetic energy that you're talking about. That high vibrational energy that allows me to show up full, authentic, whole, and ready.
Girl, y'all, I can't even respond to that. I don't even know what to say. So what role does energy play in your life?
What role does energy play in my life?
Hmm.
So I like to think of it as a kind of like a chart. So let's say I'm at the top of this chart, right? And underneath me, I have, I'm a wife, and, I have children, and I have a business. But then in addition to that, I have other people and things that I care about. And so there's like this tree that's flowing from me, right? But if I do not do what I need to do for myself. For me, that's every morning pouring into myself through an affirmation. Maybe making sure I take a yoga class 2 to 3 times a week and just practice the pause. Making sure that I'm eating the way that I need to eat so that I can have the energy to do the things that I need to do. Then all that other stuff is not going to be in line because it starts with me. So for me, when I am balanced, when I'm taking care of myself, I can pour into Solstice Exchange. I can go live and I can speak and pour into other people because it's coming from a place of being full. I'm not trying to pour from an empty cup. And so I think that for me, 2020 going into 2021 was me realizing that I got to take care of me so that everything else can flourish. And that's something that I'm conscious of every single day. And that's something that I speak to on social media every single day. And it could be as simple as, hey, look, I pulled this affirmation card and it spoke to me. So I'm sharing this with you. Or I tried this new smoothie recipe and I love it. Or, I'm going to take a yoga class because, man, my kids took it out of me today and I just need to practice the pause. It's just reminding people that what they do is important, but not if they don't make themselves just as important.
Man, if you haven't started writing your book, I'm gonna need you to I'm gonna need you to get on it.
It's okay now. That you're the second person to say that to me this week.
Hey, hey, I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying. But going to what you just referenced is how you sharing your story. Um, I shared a post a couple of months ago, and you was actually the first person to comment on it. And it was like, hey, when I share when I share these thoughts of like my vulnerability, it's me. It's not me bragging or me talking about anybody. It's me learning lessons and sharing my lessons because somebody else may be walking the same path or going through something similar to what
Hmm.
I'm doing. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. Like it sounds like you experience something, and what you do is, oh shoot, this is a message. This is something that I need to, I just process this. Let me go ahead because one, that's my business, of course. But let me go ahead and put something out there because somebody went through this 2 or 3 days ago and they're still trying to figure out how to respond, or
That.
somebody is going through it right now, or
Hmm.
somebody's about to go through
That's
it.
right.
So is that what is that how you come up with your jewels daily, or you got like a list of things that you know
No.
you
So I process from a completely organic standpoint. So my whole thing is I spent years in corporate America where everything had an itinerary, a time, a place, a date. And that's not how I wanted to run my business. I
mm,
wanted it to flow from a place of authenticity and I wanted it to be organic and I need for it to be representative of where I am every single day. So some days I may be great, and what you're going to get is positive and amazing. And some days it might be me facing some, some deep, dark stuff.
Right.
And I'm sharing it because it's my way of processing it, but also saying, hey, if you're out there and you've been through this or you're going through this, you're not alone. So everything that I do is very much organic. Now, I will say that I try to make sure my days are planned in terms of hitting every social media platform, posting something every day on each social media platform,
Mhm.
but it's not planned as in I'm going to talk about this affirmation card tomorrow,
Okay.
or I'm going to get online and talk about this yoga class that I did today. It flows. It flows.
Well, you make it seem like you said, well, it is intentional, but you do see it does feel structured, which you're doing a really good job at. I cannot knock that. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna keep pushing her brand and keep pushing her vision, because I feel like we get so caught up into um, certain things that they tell us that we're supposed to do or
Hmm.
to survive, but we shy away from uh, things like this because we may think it's dark and it's negative. But in actuality, doctors have been using these techniques for years, and we just pay a lot of people for it versus you taking that opportunity and time to learn it yourself and apply it to your life, make it part of your life principles.
Exactly.
So have you ever ran into a situation where you had to defend what you're doing?
I refuse to defend what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Now, I will say, I think that on every social platform, there's what they call trolls, right? I mean, you
Right.
have them. And so I may be live on a platform and someone may come in and say something crazy. One thing about it is, for the most part, I try to make sure I'm checking my energy at the door. Um, and I'm not going to defend something that is tried and true for me. I stick by, if it's for you, you're going to receive it, you're going to get
Yeah.
it, and it's going to flow. But if it's not for you, then it's not for you. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm never going to find myself in a situation where I'm having to defend what I'm doing or the benefits of what I'm doing.
What about educating? How much education do you go through? Like, do you do like when someone makes a statement like, or give me an example of
Mhm.
a moment you had to educate somebody, if you would like to share.
Okay, so we were at the pop-up shop and this one guy kind of kept coming back to my table. And of course he was making jokes and like, "Oh, well, do I have to wear, this bracelet on my left hand or my right hand, or, how does the energy work?" It's just he was joking a lot, but what I ended up doing was just kind of explaining to him the different materials for each crystal, how it works, and and I left it up to him. He did end up buying a bracelet. He did indulge, but I kind of just leave it there. The facts are the facts. The information is out there for anybody who wants to really learn. But as far as like maybe having a negative interaction, that's not something that I'm gonna do at all.
Okay. Well, you definitely have the right approach, and you definitely have the right mindset behind it, because in this day and age, people will get off on just being the negative Nancy or being the dark horse to a situation, because either one, they don't understand it, or two, they're just in a place of hurt, and they don't know how to get out of that place of hurt. Um, that's the way I see it.
I say it all the time. How someone chooses to approach you or treat you is always a reflection of them and not a reflection of you. And I think once you truly embody and understand that, you're able to navigate through situations and deal with people a lot differently, because you don't operate from a place of ego. You don't operate from a place of feeling like you always have to be right. You just understand that everyone is different. Everyone has a different level of understanding, and some people will be open and some people won't.
So I forgot to ask this question, because you were saying a lot of great things, and then I forgot, but then it just came back to me. And I'm asking this because this is a problem that I have. is we asked about when was it that you connect to your purpose, but like what was that feeling like? Like what was that? Um, what did for you? What did that look like, or what did that feel like? Because a lot of people always say, "Well, how do I know what my purpose is? How do I know when my purpose is staring me in my face? And what do I know what it feels like?" So, what did it feel? What did it feel like to you?
The best way I could describe it is that it felt like home. It felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And even if and when things would get hard, it was never that hard. It's just like, okay, I can figure out a way around this. For me, it felt like fulfillment. So I know that, and I'm not knocking anybody who has a regular 9 to 5. I don't want anyone to think that. Um, you tend to feel low energy. You tend to feel tired. You tend to feel, I don't want to say depressed, but just low vibrational when you are not in alignment with what you know that you're supposed to be doing. And for me, it's every day feeling like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm never too tired to research something or look into a new vendor or study something new or think about another certification I want to get that will help me learn something new that I can then teach someone else. It's like a constant, steady flow of good energy. I'm always ready for the next thing. And that's the best way I can describe it.
Hmm, that makes total sense. Certifications. Um, how much learning do you plan on doing, and then do you eventually want to turn around and become a certifier?
A certified, I'm sorry?
So when I say certifications, how much more learning is it that you want to like goals, like education goals, do you have for this? And eventually, do you is this something in the future plans where you want to turn around and become the person who certifies individuals?
So I haven't really thought about becoming someone who would certify other individuals. The next thing that I am looking into is a breathwork certification because I feel like that's something that ties in with people having the ability to meditate and knowing how to kind of breathe through their yoga poses. And it's something that you don't have to necessarily um, go outside of your home to do. It's teaching people how to practice the pause in their everyday while they're at work. If you're having a moment with your child, that's something that I really feel like is the next thing for me. That and I don't want to put too much out there right now, but I have a
Yeah, I don't want you to spill too much of the beans.
yeah, I have a certification coming up in October that is geared towards physical fitness for women. So a different type of fitness for women. So
Okay,
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to bridge a gap with you. We kind of talked about a project, and we'll talk about more offline. But we definitely talked about a project in the future. But the more and more you talk, man, I think I'm gonna have to pass you on to somebody that you both can probably really eat off of each other, like feed off of each other. Because that breathwork things, I've been a part of some breathwork events, and it's one is dope,
Hmm.
and it's very impactful. So I want to make sure I can plug you into to that individual. So we almost coming to the end of the interview, and I have my last minute. I have that mandatory question I have for you.
Okay.
So we do this thing called living our dreams and living our purpose. Um, and for you, because you sound so confident in what you're doing, uh, if you met a person today
Hmm.
that thought they were living in their purpose or are living in their purpose, but they are very, very to the point to where they're so discouraged because they're not where they feel like they want to be or where they expect to be
Hmm.
along their journey. What are some words of advice or encouragement would you give to the individual? And don't be cliche and say keep going. Uh, none of that stuff. Like give us some real jewels.
So I don't want to be cliche. That's not. I definitely don't want to be cliche, but I think that you have to always remember why you started. Nothing is easy. If you get up and you go to work for somebody else tomorrow, it's not going to be easy. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. And at those moments when you find yourself getting discouraged, remind yourself of that.
Right.
Remember why you started. Remember what your goals are. Don't be afraid to scrap the plan and start anew, because
Right.
maybe what you're doing is not working for where you want to go, but that doesn't mean that you can't get to where you want to go.
Right.
So you just have to be open to the possibility of change. You have to be able to flow within your thing. When I initially started talking about doing this whole Solstice Exchange thing, I had a completely different vision than what it is now. But I know that where we're going is where I'm supposed to be. I just had to be open to the fact that, that first, I don't want to say that first model of what Solstice Exchange was, what I thought it was supposed to be, is not it. So don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board, because the one thing about it is, if it's your thing, it's yours, and you can make it whatever you want to make it.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. If it's yours, it's yours. You can make it what you want to make it, and also you have to remember why you're doing what you're doing, the purpose. Understanding that and connecting to it, and how it starts is not always how it finishes. It's just like anybody that develops a logo or for their business. You can see the different phases in the original logo to modernization, and it's also about being flexible. You don't want to be KB. You don't want to be KB Toy Store. KB Toy Store did not shift when e-commerce came along and they closed down. A lot of businesses closed down. Toys R Us closed down too, or
Right.
getting ready to. You always want to be open and flexible. So I really appreciate those words, and I really appreciate your time. So I want to give you opportunity to plug any businesses that you have, or any movements, or any events or upcoming things that you have in the near future, so that we can make sure that people who will watch this or watch this on Facebook, on Instagram, not Instagram, but YouTube in the future, or who will catch this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we can make sure that they know where to reach you, how to find you, and they can support you in any kind of way. So the floor is yours.
Definitely. So I just want to open the floor up and say, one, thank you for having me. It took me a little minute, but I'm so glad that I was able to do this. And we started Solstice Saturdays, and typically we go live on TikTok. I am thinking about opening it up to Instagram as well. I do recognize not everyone has TikTok, but Solstice Saturdays is just a place where we go live and we pick a topic. I usually have a voting panel open through the week for 2 topics. The topic that gets the most votes is what we talk about on Saturday. We've done everything from mindfulness meditations to relationship realness, dealing with childhood trauma, remembering to practice the pause. And so there will still be a lot of that in the future. You can follow Solstice Exchange on Instagram. I am Niche is my main profile on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok under those names as well.
Well, Solstice Saturdays.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you now, don't put it on Instagram. I'm gonna tell you, keep it on TikTok. But I want to say one thing that I would say is very smart, is that how you continue to engage with your audience, and how you continue to bring in new members to your audience, which is creating that panel, giving people that power to have those discussions, versus you controlling the narrative and controlling discussions. Because at the end of the day, you're pulling something from them, and then they're gaining a lot from you. So that is a very smart move. Very smart move. Please don't stop that, and please don't stop the Solstice Saturdays. If there's anything I can do to help push it, I will. I might just go in and break down and get a TikTok account.
You got to do it now. You got to do it now. You've said it twice. You got to do it now.
one, I'm old. I'm definitely older than you, and it's like every time I got to learn a new program, a new platform.
Look,
Uh,
I would not have been on TikTok if it wasn't for my daughter. She told me I was too old for TikTok and that I would not do well. It was a bet that spiraled into something completely different. So,
uh, well, Niechia,
yes.
that's my big sister's name. So um, that's a good name. I really appreciate your time. Tell your family thank you for letting me steal you for an hour of your Sunday. And there will be a lot of things that come down the pipeline that you're going to see me yelling and screaming on your behalf. And anybody else out there, ensure that you follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe. Dope Conversations is back. We're not going anywhere. It's just had a season in my life where I had to understand that school was important.
Mm.
Uh, and I graduated in February. Well, I'm completed in February. When I graduate, I don't know. I'm just ready to be done. But these interviews are going to continue to happen, and they're going to happen not as frequent as much, but they're going to continue to happen, and they're going to be more intentful. I really appreciate your time, ma'am.
No, thank you for having
And
me.
definitely don't hang up when we jump off here because we got to talk about something else for in the future. But I do have her website down here at the bottom of the screen, soulsticeexchange.com. Please shop, go peruse, browse, however you want to call it.
And
She
not
has some
only that, you can, and I didn't mean to cut you off, you can
yes,
reach out
ma'am.
to me on all social platforms if you have
Yeah.
any questions. I'm always open.
I think you just came out with a new product. You got a sage spray. Did you just
Yes,
drop that? Yeah. Okay.
Soulstice Sage Spray.
Spray. So, segue. It's a movie called The Perfect Match with the dude. I can't stand the light skinned dude. They used to be on 106 and Park. What's his name? Uh, I
Is it
forgot his
Terrence?
name. Terrence. Yeah, Terrence J and
Okay.
Cassie, right? And Brandy played in it. And in the scene, when you popped it up, it just had me laughing because in one of these scenes, Brandy was getting ready for an audition and she was nervous. And her personal assistant, before her personal assistant walks in the room, she has this thing called the feng shui spray where she was spraying the office before Brandy walked into the office. So that's what I thought. I was like, oh shoot, we got some feng shui spray. I have to go
Okay.
ahead and, I'm gonna have to go ahead and order that so I can spray that when I spray it in my walk pass when I get ready to walk to work every day to get rid of the bad energy and the nonsense at the
I'm
job.
telling
So
you.
check her website and check her website out. Check her out on all social media platforms. She's very responsive. She's not one of those people that if you inbox them, she's not going to respond. She will respond. She responded to a stranger, and that's how she got on the show today.
Yeah.
And then she has another full ledge of energy and support just based off of the fact that she's been very, very, very intentful, and I love everything she's doing. So without further ado, we're gonna check out of here on this Sunday. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'm gonna drop my homeboy's track. JC is for me. I'm dropping an instrumental because social media be tripping when you play people's songs. So y'all tune in. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks. I got another special guest talking about their purpose and their vision and some other things down the pipeline. So have a great Sunday.